Alright, today's story time is going to be about a Karen who decided to steal this guy's Christmas presents after she invited herself to their Christmas function in the first place. Just some absolute next level entitlement you would not expect out of anyone over the age of, I don't know, 2. So yeah, I knew you guys would love the story time, so without further ado, let's go. Alright, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am. Here's the comment of the day from the last video. And as I said in the beginning, we're just gonna hop right into the story. Alright, so the guy who sent this to me has 2 roommates, and the 3 of them weren't able to go home for Christmas because there was this blizzard. And they happened to have this neighbor who would always invite herself to things, which is really annoying. But like most of the people in this apartment complex just assumed it was because she was lonely and had no friends, so they weren't going to be mean to her. If somebody comes up to you and starts talking about how lonely they are, you can't like look at them, call them a loser, slap them in the face and walk away. You have to pretend to care at least a little bit. I don't know. I guess you don't have to. It's just the nice thing to do. But whatever. On the 23rd, the guy who sent this in to me is going to his mailbox to get his mail, and his roommate ends up tagging along with him. And sure enough, as they get to the mailbox, they bump into her, and she starts trying to force small talk. And I think force small talk is just one of the worst things in the planet, because it's like, look, neither one of us want to be having this conversation. We should just get our mail and go back to our apartments, and that can be the end of it. Happy holidays, whatever. It just is what it is. But of course, she starts trying to talk their ear off, and they're trying to be nice because they don't want to be rude. But whenever you would talk to this lady, she would just bum you out with the most depressing things ever. You know when people overshare a little bit too much, and it's like, oh man, now I'm just bummed out. She starts saying how her niece got a dog, and the dog died right before Christmas, and now her niece is all depressed. Like, this is the first thing she's trying to make small talk about. And listen, that's awful. I feel bad for your niece, but like, man, that's just a heavy topic to just drop on somebody who said hello while trying to check the mailbox. Oh, want to hear all about my niece's dead dog? Like, no, not really. I don't really want to. And on top of it, it was just like her life was always a train wreck. She was always going through something insanely stressful, usually caused by her not thinking things through too far ahead. And I'm sure there's a lot of people whose lives are train wrecks, but if your life is a train wreck, you should just know that people don't want to hear about the train wreck. This lady just didn't get that memo. You know, you would see her at the mailbox, how's your day? My life is a pit of despair. Oh, okay, well, have a good one. And she wasn't that old, that's just the voice I used. So whatever, regardless, on this particular short interaction that they were having, she starts going off about how she's going to be so lonely on Christmas because she can't go see her family because after the last party, they kicked her out, which is a whole can of worms that they don't even get to open as to why she's banned from her Christmas. But she's just going to be so lonely on Christmas, and she wishes that someone would have, you know, found a holiday party to invite her to or something. And the 2 roommates that are there are like, all right, well, that sure is unfortunate. Merry Christmas, have a good one. And they start walking somewhere else, like to go back to the apartment. They didn't want to invite her to this Christmas party because they knew that she was going to just like make it weird. And on top of it, that's a weird thing to invite yourself to. Whatever, if somebody's like going to a museum or something and you say you're gonna tag along, pretty harmless. Just saying, hey, I'm gonna come to your Christmas party, like pretty bizarre. So whatever, they start trying to walk away and distance themselves from the situation, but their 3rd roommate ends up walking up from the parking lot at that point because he sees them over by the mailbox. And he starts loudly talking about how they have this awesome Christmas party planned and they're so hyped because even though this blizzard's coming, they're not gonna let it interrupt their holiday. And the 2 guys that are already standing there are giving him the look of like, dude, shut up, please stop talking, because she's still standing there listening to all of this. And of course, it's too late at that point because she comes up and taps the 3rd roommate on the shoulder and is like, oh, I don't have anywhere to be this Christmas Eve. Can I please come to your party? It sounds absolutely awesome. And of course, now the 3 of them are in a very awkward spot because before she was just insinuating that she wanted to be invited. Well, now she's asked them. And what? Are you going to tell this person no? Sorry, the spirit of Christmas is dead around here. You're going to have to spend the holidays alone. Like, I guess you could say that, but you guys get where I'm coming from. That's an awkward situation. I don't know what you do in that situation. Probably having another seat set at Christmas dinner. So, of course, the 3rd roommate doesn't know what to do, and he's like, yeah, of course you can come. And the 2 of them are like, oh man, I wish this guy hadn't have walked up, and even the look on his face isn't thrilled. But like, what are you really supposed to do in that situation? You know, there's really not much you can do. He kind of had to invite her at that point. It is weird that she invited herself. Like, think about this from her perspective. perspective, all right? She's just standing there. She's overhearing these people that she doesn't really know that well, like very brief interactions with. And then they talk about a party and she's like, oh, I deserve to be invited to that too. Especially a holiday like that. It's just such a personal holiday. I wouldn't want to spend it with like a stranger's family. Maybe that's just me. But if I couldn't go home for the holidays, there was nothing going on where I was, I wouldn't be like, I'm just going to roam around Walmart and try to find someone to invite me to their Christmas dinner. So whatever, they get back up there and immediately all of them are like, why would you do that? Why would you invite her to Christmas dinner, dude? We all know how this is going to go. Like, it's going to get bad. And he admits that he felt really awkward on the spot and he didn't know what to do, which was probably the play she was going for. I don't know. I just feel like people like this, they can't be that unaware of the awkward situation. They must just know that, like, if they make it awkward enough, they'll get what they want. So whatever. They're like, it is what it is. And they spend the rest of that day hanging out because it's not Christmas Eve yet. And while they were hanging out, they just decided that they were going to, like, put all their presents that their parents had sent them under the tree. Because it was a blizzard, you know, some of the gifts had gotten sent over early, so they just set them out under the tree, and it doesn't really matter, but there's like a lot of small boxes. That'll be important later. And so they had told this lady that they were probably going to get things started at like 6 p.m. Well, the next day, Christmas Eve at 5 p.m. on the dot, an hour early, they just hear this excited pounding on the door, just like somebody trying to basically break it down with a baseball bat or something. And they go and open it, and it's the neighbor. And she's like, Merry Christmas, and just pushes past the guy holding the door, walks in, and sees all the presents under the tree and says, you guys shouldn't have. And the three of them don't really know what she means by that, but they assume that she was trying to make a joke. Like, trying, not doing very well, but trying to make a joke about like, oh, all these presents are mine. And so they don't really know what to say, so they just laugh a little bit. And then she goes up to them and picks one up and is like, well, they don't say my name, they say your name. And the three of them are like, oh yeah, because there are presents from our parents, they're not for you. Keep in mind, they're probably half this lady's age, and the look on her face is genuinely being upset. Like, she is genuinely upset that there's not a ton of gifts laid out for her at this stranger's house that she invited herself over to. And when she realizes that none of them are for her and they're being serious, she's like, well, then why are they even here? And the three of them don't know how to respond to that stupid sentence because, like, what do you mean, why are they here? It's Christmas Eve, so there's Christmas presents under the tree. I'm really confused on what you even mean by that. And I especially love to know her logic. Like, what? They invited her yesterday and then they immediately went out and spent their entire life savings on gifts for the person that invited themselves over for Christmas? Even if they invited you, like, if you get invited to something 2 days before Christmas, chances are they don't have anything prepared for you, and there's no obligation to. The nice part is them inviting you to the Christmas thing. You invite yourself to a party, like, last minute, and then you're shocked they don't have a goodie bag for you. Like, that's the vibe, dude. You are the reason that this is awkward. And so whatever, they don't really know what to say to that because, like, it's just illogical to go buy a bunch of presents for someone that you don't know that well. But she, while they're getting ready for dinner, keeps, like, going back over to the tree and looking at the presents and trying to make sure that none of them say her name. None of them say her name, and they keep telling her, like, look, there's no presents for you over there. Like, stop going over by the tree, because it was just being sketchy to them. Not that she was sketchy in general, but just, like, imagine somebody is clearly very upset that none of the presents are for them, and then, like, you're all in the kitchen and they just keep going over and standing by the tree. And so, whatever, it's pretty awkward, and they're just trying to write it out, and they keep, like, every time she leaves the room looking at the third roommate and giving him crap for getting them into this situation in the first place. And then the second roommate goes, listen, I'm not saying that she's gonna steal anything, but, like, I'm just gonna go count how many presents are under the tree, because I'm getting a very bad vibe, and it's just a gut feeling. And he openly admits, he's like, probably a stupid gut feeling, I know it sounds ridiculous, but I'm gonna go count the presents. So he goes and counts, not because he cares how many he gets, but just because she's giving off this really weird vibe. And so, like, 20 minutes before dinner gets set, they start getting the table set, and they start getting everything ready to go to eat dinner. And she goes, hey, I've got to use the bathroom. And I'm just gonna call her Terry from now on, because it's gonna be easier to call her a name. And Terry's like, yeah, I'm just really not feeling that well. I just gotta sit down for a second. And they're like, all right, well, the bathroom's to the right, so go for it. So Terry goes over, and the bathroom is to the right, and the tree is to the left. And Terry kind of walks over to the tree, and they watch her pick up 2 of the small gifts, put them in her pocket, and then open the door and walk out. And they're all standing there like, what is going on? Did they really think that we weren't gonna notice them go do that? Literally in front of them, not trying to hide it, not trying to be sneaky, not even like the bare minimum shoplifting skills, nothing. Just really walked the opposite way of where they were supposed to go to the bathroom and grabbed stuff in front of the hosts of the party. Like, what was the point of even establishing the bathroom cover story if you weren't even going to pretend to go to the bathroom? that makes it more weird to me. Hey, I'm lost. I don't know where I'm going. Oh, okay, go to the right. And then I watch you walk left. Like, that would just be very confusing. Either you're way dumber than I expected or you're up to no good. But they go over to open the door just to see where Terry is going because she just stole Christmas presents. And they open the door and Terry is in a full-blown sprint down the stairs. They lived on the 3rd level of this apartment. And so this woman who had literally like begged to get invited to their Christmas party just stole 2 gifts and tried to flee before dinner has even been served, which is just the most over-the-top dinner guest thing of all time, man. You want to talk about being rude? You know what's more rude than not having presents for the stranger you invited to Christmas dinner? Trying to steal the Christmas presents that aren't for you. So whatever, she's trying to make a break for it, and she gets to the bottom of the stairs, and there was obviously a big blizzard. Like, that's why they weren't able to go home for Christmas. And when she hits the concrete, it's really icy. And so she kind of starts sliding, and instead of like trying to catch herself at all or trying to just kind of embrace the fall, she tries to do like an ice skating maneuver on her feet. And it doesn't end up well because she starts falling forward, which is the worst way to fall. And she kind of falls and slides. She doesn't face plant super hard, but she just kind of slides and her face smacks into the bumper of like a Subaru that's parked right there. And it's not a serious injury, didn't even leave a bruise, but just like the embarrassment of falling and then sliding and hitting your face on a car, like just all of it. And they're watching from 3 stories above is looking like something straight out of a comedy movie. And I'm going to also assume that even if it didn't leave a mark, that like smacking your face into a Subaru bumper doesn't feel great. I'm sure that's not great for your dental plan or whatever. But one of the roommates had started running down the stairs to get down there to Terry and get the presents back. But the other 2 are up at the top and they're being like, Terry, why did you do that? Like, why did you do that? And Terry gets up and turns around, sees that one of them is like getting closer to her to get the presents back and the other 2 just witnessed everything. And she starts trying to play it off as just one big prank, guys. It's a Christmas prank. Oh yes, the classic prank, guys. Come on. How could we forget about the Christmas tradition of pretending to rob someone? It's just just tradition as old as time. It literally broke my brain when I was trying to think about how to describe it because it's just so logical. Everyone does that. I don't know about you guys. I always love to like go into the local Subway, pretend to hold them up. Oh, Christmas, it's a Christmas prank. Come on, guys, Christmas prank. Absolute classic. I didn't realize that holiday tradition was not known to everyone. And they obviously respond to that by saying that like, even if it is a prank, we don't really appreciate that prank because it just felt like we were getting robbed. And so Terry's kind of covered in snow from the face plant and the slide, and she like gives them back the presents, and the roommate who's down there turns around and starts trying to come back up the stairs. And Terry starts trying to come back upstairs with him. And so the roommate turns around and is like, where are you going? And Terry says, oh, well, I'm going to come back in and enjoy the rest of the party. And all of the roommates are in shock because they can all hear this. Like, one is at the bottom of the stairs, but they can all hear this conversation because they're like, oh, she thought she was going to get back into the function? That's not really how it works. You can't try to rob the function and then be like, oops, you guys, you caught me. Anyways, let's get back to Christmas dinner. What do you want the topic of conversation to be during the meal? How you're a terrible thief? Like, I just feel like this is one of those situations where you should want to go home. You shouldn't want to come back up to the party, and they're not going to let you back in. Oh, whatever. I tried to rob you guys, but the Christmas spirit, you know? I'm sure the Christmas spirit can repair a lot, but it's not going to repair that. So they tell her in kinder words to get lost and that she's not allowed back into their house. And she starts trying to guilt trip them, being like, it's Christmas Eve. I don't have anywhere to go other than my apartment. Like, why are you guys being so mean? And they're flabbergasted once again and literally ask her to explain how they're being mean. They're like, please explain to us how we are being mean when you are the one who literally tried to steal from us just now. Are we supposed to just let that go? We're the mean ones for kicking you out on Christmas Eve? What's more mean? Kicking you out on Christmas Eve because you tried to steal from us, or stealing from someone on Christmas Eve who's trying to be kind? And she just goes on trying to guilt trip them about how they're not being good neighbors and their parents would be disappointed. And they're like, all right, well, I don't live with my parents, so I don't care. I don't really care what day it is. I don't care what night it is, what eve it's not. We don't want someone who's going to steal from us in our house anymore. And at that point, Terry starts to get embarrassed because like people are starting to look outside and listen. So she decides to walk away, and instead of being like quiet about it, starts swearing at them, calling them losers, saying that they're deadbeats, you know, insulting their moms, which is not the Christmas spirit, Terry, if I do say so myself. I don't feel like Santa would ever say anything bad about my mother. Ho, 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 the fourth ho is your mom. Like, I don't think that's what he's got going on up at the North Pole. All right, guys, I'm gonna interrupt the video for just 1 second on screen now is a gift card code. I give one away in every video to say thank you to you guys for watching. So subscribe, turn on those notifications so you never miss another video. And while I've got you, press the like button, alright? Otherwise, no joke, no scam. I will be forced to hand over your data to the Karen network and they will go to every restaurant you eat at and cause a huge scene. Either way, they all go back upstairs, and at that point, the gifts that she had tried to steal are like covered in ice and snow and getting wet, so they decide to just open them. And when they open them up, they're shocked that they would have risked like stealing because it was the lamest gifts ever. Not that gifts should be judged based on lameness, like someone going out of their way to get you something is always nice, but if you're gonna risk it all to steal something, you'd hope it would be worth a little something something. Nope, it was literally like two $15 gift cards to fast food restaurants. So they gave up their Christmas Eve dinner and their reputation all to get their hands on like $30 worth of cheeseburgers. Terry probably is sitting there at home like, oh man, how am I gonna get out of this one? Everyone in the apartment's gonna think I'm weird for trying to steal from them on Christmas. It all would have been worth it if I just got that $30 worth of McDonald's gift cards. I also just can't believe her thought here, alright? Did she really think that they were gonna watch her steal something from their house and just walk out the front door? I don't think at any point the three of them were like, oh, whatever, it's the spirit of Christmas. I'd rather my gifts be stolen and given to somebody else. That's what matters. Terry just tried to go Grinch mode, but at least the Grinch was good at stealing Christmas. You know, that's the only bright side. I'm not saying the Grinch stealing Christmas was right. He eventually gave it back, and he was good at it. He literally stole an entire town's Christmas. Terry, you're not the Grinch. You couldn't even steal 2 gift cards out of somebody's living room. So whatever, they proceed to have themselves a great Christmas Eve, great Christmas, everything's great. But when they go to take the trash out that night, one of their neighbors kind of confronts them a little bit and is like, hey, that's really not cool, guys. And they kind of ask what they're talking about because they're not too sure what they have done. They've been minding their business and they're like, we heard what you did to Terry where you kicked her out in the cold on Christmas Eve and told her that she deserved to have no family. And they're like, what are you talking about? Because they didn't say that. Yes, they did tell her to leave. They told her not to come back, but they weren't about to kick her when she's down and be like, you deserve to have no family. That's just ice cold. Nobody said that. So they start trying to correct the story with this person and they're like, no, Terry came in, we were trying to have a nice dinner and she started trying to steal our Christmas presents. And as soon as they said that, the person they were talking to went, oh, yep, that makes more sense. That's Terry. What, is Terry just known for like inviting herself over to places and then trying to steal things? Why wouldn't you guys have tipped off the other people in the neighborhood? Maybe a little bit of a warning. Hey guys, be careful. Terry will break in and try to steal stuff. A little bit of a heads up would have been appreciated. So of course, once they realize that, they're like, oh, you guys didn't kick her out and like say anything to her. She just got caught stealing and that's why she got kicked out. So most people in the neighborhood get back on their side and they're like, all right, they would have never just kicked this lady out and said that she deserves to have no family. But somehow Terry managed to have like a very small group of people that believed it through and through and like hate these 3 roommates now and think that they were rude to this old lady who was just looking for a place to be on Christmas Eve. And that's not what happened. They tried to do the nice thing. They tried to do the nice thing and invite him over. Granted, they didn't really want to invite him over, but still, they tried. Terry just had to go and ruin everything by trying to steal some Christmas presents. And why say anything at all? Like, I feel like if I was Terry in this situation, I would have just kept my mouth shut. I wouldn't have gone trying to make them look bad. I wouldn't have gone trying to say that they were rude when they kicked me out. I would have just shut up, because at the end of the day, I would have been embarrassed that I tried to steal their Christmas presents. Goes to show that Terry is really a next level Karen, that she feels no guilt or shame whatsoever. She's like, whatever, I might as well try to milk this for as much attention as I can. They already kicked me out of the Christmas party. It's not like I have anything else to lose. But I guess their plan now, from what they were telling me, is that they're just going to avoid Terry. I don't really think that's going to be possible. She seems like the type of person that manages to inject herself into every situation. But I guess the moral of this first story is it's normal to be nice on Christmas, but if someone is the Grinch and starts trying to steal things, you're more than welcome to like kick them out. And Terry, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? Come on. You can't sneak into someone's house and try to take their stuff. That's just crazy. Rumor has it she's living in trash cans like Oscar the Grouch to this day. All right, I have another story time for you guys today that you're going to really like, because it's about this spoiled kid who tried to steal this dude's cousin's Christmas presents on Christmas Day. All right, so the guy who sent this to me, that I'm gonna name Tom, was at his parents' house for the holidays, and his parents have a big house, so it's where all of the family gets together, so uncles, aunts, like everyone. And he has a bunch of little cousins that are still at the age where Christmas is like the most exciting thing on the planet ever, and they had gotten some RC cars for Christmas. And obviously, they wanted to play with the thing that they had had just got for Christmas, so they decided to go outside and drive him around the road. They live in a suburb. It's not like cars are going to be flying around. They can always stop it. It should be no big deal. And so they go outside and they're playing, and about 15 minutes later, one of his little cousins comes in crying, like looking like the world just ended, dude. And he says that someone took his RC car. And so Tom is like, all right, one of your cousins probably took it, your brother or whatever. Let's go see what's up. And he goes outside and he's confused because he sees like an older teenager standing there with an RC remote that he doesn't recognize. And his cousin is like, that's the guy who took my car. And so Tom walks up to this stranger and says, hey man, did you take my little cousin's RC car? And the guy is old enough that he has facial hair growing, and he's like, yeah, I really wanted one for Christmas and I didn't get one. And Tom is kind of taken aback by his honesty about like, yeah, I took it. So he tells him, don't you think you're a little old to be stealing Christmas presents from little kids? Well, just because I'm 18 doesn't mean Christmas is over. There's no reason that I can't be playing with toys too. I should be able to still get what I want. And immediately Tom is like, bro, this is a full-grown adult that is stealing RC cars from little kids because he didn't get one for Christmas. So he snatches the remote back from him and says, well, you can go do your own Christmas, but you're not going to take my cousin's stuff. And you would have thought that he just tried to rip this guy's heart out like Indiana Jones. Taking the remote from this man was the most disrespectful thing he could have ever done, because he starts freaking out on Tom. What are you doing? Why would you do that? And Tom is like, dude, if you want an RC car, go get one for yourself. You're an adult. Like, you can go get a job and just pay for one. You can't steal stuff from people. Even if you were a kid, like, you still can't take stuff from people and say it's yours. Why are you trying to steal toys from kids on Christmas? Like, that's weird, bro. And this guy's response is to say that he does not want to have to work for one, which, great, man. I don't think anyone wants to have to work for anything. In an ideal world, if I could just be like, hey, I want a house, and it would magically appear, that would be sick. That's not the real world. You gotta work for stuff. You want a sick RC car, bro? I hate to tell you this, but you gotta clock in and put some hours in, because you're at the age where no one's gonna give you stuff anymore. And then his next offense is to say that this guy, Tom's little cousin, doesn't even play Rocket League, so what does he know about controlling a car? And all I gotta say to that is apparently about as much as you know about controlling a car if you think that Rocket League actually gives you any real driving skills. Like, in this guy's mind, hey man, I'm really good at Rocket League, therefore I deserve to drive an RC car because I have the most motor vehicle talent. An RC car has nothing to do with driving a car anyways, bro. There's no gas pedal, there's no steering wheel. Like, you're not doing anything to drive an RC car that you actually do in a real car. And even those are disconnected from Rocket League. Like, you're just comparing three different things here. Hey man, I know how to make something round, therefore I'm good at basketball. Like, that is the level of disconnect you are trying to say right now. So whatever, the cousin is like, it doesn't matter what you're gonna say, man. You still can't steal the kid's stuff. It doesn't matter if you play Rocket League or not. And so he tells him one more time to get out of here or they're gonna have problems. And this guy starts stomping his feet, like throwing a fit, saying that this isn't fair. And it has nothing to do with being fair, dude. I think this is fair that the person who got something as a gift gets to keep their gift. But yeah, sometimes life ain't fair, bro. Sometimes you want an RC car and you don't get one. It doesn't mean you can go around stealing stuff and being like, life wasn't fair, because it's also not fair to steal from someone. What, this little kid whose Christmas present you just stole, you're like, hey, life was unfair to me, so now I'm taking your Christmas present. Like, what are you talking about? And all he's yelling about is how all he wants is an RC car, nothing else is gonna make him happy. That's literally his only dream. And Tom is standing there like, cool, bro, then go get it. If that's all your life is gonna end up being is you having an RC car, that's an insanely easy goal. You should be fulfilled with your life by like, I don't know, what, 2 days into 18, if you have a job and you save money for like 2 days at a normal job, you can buy an RC car. So if that's really all your heart desires, then more power to you, man. You're gonna be the most satisfied dude on the planet. And now just neighbors from the neighborhood are starting to come outside and see what's going on because it's a pretty big racket. So Tom tells him again, like, look, dude, you have all these people watching, just get out of here. And the entitled kid takes a look around and decides to try to blame one more time and is like, dude, why did you make such a big scene? Look what you did. And Tom is just standing there like, what do you mean I made a scene? I had nothing to do with this. I just came and told you to not steal toys from kids on Christmas. I don't know how that makes me the bad guy that you started freaking out and now everybody's watching. And the guy stops for a second and thinks, and I don't know if he processed that he was being a moron or if he was just kind of like, whatever, I'm not gonna win this argument and now everyone is watching. But the next thing out of his mouth was like, well, I'm gonna go, but I hope that you feel good knowing that you absolutely ruined my Christmas. That's not nice of you. And Tom looks at this stranger and says, all right, man, I can live with that. Which I don't know what this kid expected the response to be. Like, you ruined my Christmas. Well, you're a stranger, so that's just not really my problem. And you were stealing toys from my little cousin on Christmas. Yeah, they were gonna come up and say something to you. Oh, you ruined my Christmas. Well, don't steal from people, and your Christmas won't be ruined, I guess. If you enjoyed the story, please be sure to press the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comment section down below. If you don't know what to comment and you made it this far in the video, you might as well comment the word Christmas. Just helps me know if you guys are watching these to the end and makes the video do better. If you want to listen to these offline, I do post them on Spotify, link down below. Feel free to check that out. But yeah, other than that, guys, that'll really do it. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and hopefully I will see each and every single one of you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.